Today is a somber day in the southern Ohio community of Lucasville. It marks 30 years now since America's longest prison riot broke out at the prison just outside of town.
Investigative reporter Daryl Rowland covered the violent uprising then, and he returned today for a ceremony to mark a day that's had a lasting impact on the state.
3 decades later, the pain still lingers at Lucasville, a wreath laying and a 21-gun salute. A solemn remembrance of what remains the nation's longest prison riot. 9 inmates and Corrections Officer Bob Vallandingham lost their lives in that 11-day siege that began on Easter Sunday in 1993. The community and the state prison system are forever scarred. The impact of it all still weighs heavily on the warden at the time, Art Tate.
Did you seek counseling or anything after all this?
I'm not too big to tell you. I think it's a great question. Probably 3 months after the riot, I hit the wall physically. Blood pressure shot up. I had to go get glasses.
The former warden, now a consultant for the prison system, often thinks back on missteps leading up to the riot. For example, the lockup's substantial Muslim population wasn't happy about upcoming mandatory tuberculosis tests because they thought pig cells were involved. The entire prison was scheduled for a 3-day lockdown starting that Monday after Easter to administer those TB tests. Tate told the prison kitchen supervisor to get enough supplies ready to feed hundreds of prisoners during that period.
He went back to his office and told his inmate clerk to order, I don't know how many bags, several thousand bags, because the warden's going to lock the prison down. And that's basically it. We're pretty sure that's how the word got out.
Another warning came from officers working in the watchtowers about an unusual alliance brewing between the Muslim inmates and the white supremacist Aryan Brotherhood prison gang.
On Saturday, before the riot, that the Muslims and the Aryans had grouped up together on the weight pile, on the yard. Never happens. Never. And they were chit-chatting, 50 or 60 of them. That was the day before the riot. So those are all signals that something's up.
Unfortunately, Tate said he didn't hear about that account until a couple of days after the riot started. But for the former warden, the worst was knowing that families of corrections officers taken hostage blamed him, especially Bob Vallandingham's widow. He recounts an emotional encounter with her at a prison memorial service years later.
She was teared up. She kind of started crying, and she said, Warden, I want you to know that for all these years, I've held you personally responsible for my husband's death. And she said, I now realize that's not the case. And I'm telling you, Daryl, it was like somebody took a 500-pound weight off my shoulders.
But for Art Tate, the scars remain.
A lot of that burden, I guess, that I carried for years and years, I think as years go by, it seems to dissipate, but it's still there. I still have it right here.
For WSYX on your side, I'm Daryl Rowland.